Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, comm tower. This is Concho. Do you read me over?
Pacho, this is Con Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Comm tower, comm tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. Say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Get some. Hurrah! What's going on, everybody? Another week down and Baby Friday once again. And we're getting ready to kick off this long weekend. But before, we have a really good show, good topic for the day. But before we get started, hey, like I always say, this show is all about the Second Amendment. I fought for freedom of speech for 21 years while in the Marine Corps. So what does that mean to you? Well, you have the choice to stick around and listen to me bump my gums for the next half hour or so. Or if you don't like what you hear, you can swipe left, keep going, and find another podcast. I don't know, maybe someone in Sitch Radio, maybe someone Combat Vet Vision, something like that. But either way, hey, you have the choice. So, but if you like what you hear, just make sure you like and subscribe and follow and share it all, pass it all around like a joint at a party to your friends and family and other veterans as well. Maybe and maybe they may find themselves on the show at some point in time. So, yeah, today's show we're going to talk about a little bit about comm. Man, I remember all the time while I was in the military. I mean, it was a going theme. When you went out to the field, even on the deployment or whatever the case may be, comm is effed up. Comm, there's no comm. We can't talk, we can't do this, comm is always effed up, the radios don't work, this and that, whatever the case may be. And maybe in today's society as a whole, maybe comm is all effed up. They want to, in my line of work, as most of you may know, communication is one of our biggest and most powerful tools as a safety professional. We kind of live in this paradigm world in between. We really don't belong to anybody. We answer to the big boss, whatever the case may be. But we're those folks that are trying to get the buy-in from the people on the floor, or where at the site, whatever, or construction site, wholesale place, whatever. But we're just trying to implement the things that corporate mandates, or if there's no real corporate rules and regulations in regards to safety, we pretty much try to get everybody compliant with OSHA safety standards, and American National Standard Institute, all those organizations, right? So so the way we do it is through communicating and giving you the why and get the buy-in from you, so that way at the end of the day you go home with all your 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 arms, and your life, right? But I feel like today, in today's day and age, we all think we're all communicating when I feel, and it's me, but we're not really listening. We may be hearing the other person, but are we actively listening to what they're saying, right? Because a lot of time when there's a conflict, there's most of the time is miscommunication on both parts, and they may be stating their case in point, but neither end is really being receptive or listening to what the other side is saying. That makes sense. And I guess I'll militarize it even more so. A lot of us are, most of us, hopefully most of my 2 or 3 listeners that are my followers, that are in the service, A lot of us know that. Hey, how do we weaken the enemy? Well, prevent them from talking to or anything going outside of that place to the world. You know, I mean, I don't want to use Ukraine as an example. However, as a tactician, first thing I would have done, blown up all the communication towers. That way, they can't talk to the world. They cannot communicate. They cannot publish. They cannot do anything. Uh, so they're basically, locked in this little world, and all crossing borders, whatever. So I mean, and that's tactics 101, right? So a lot of times when we're having conflicts with other people, with other individuals, is because we're not, our comm is fucked up, is it's the bottom line. You know what I mean? So, and sometimes it may even take an outside person to bring things into perspective. It kind of falls in line with this whole accountability thing that I talked about last week, uh, in the sense that, yeah, people don't hold themselves accountable nowadays, uh, but also that creates conflict and also miscommunication. And just to, even bring it more close to my own backyard, I've been dealing with a bunch of personal things going on, and that's accountability and communication. But somebody somebody suggested, hey, why don't you change the delivery of the message, and so that way you get that other person, hopefully they'll get a different perspective. And you know, I I reflected on it. You know what? Yeah, let me go ahead and do that, and try a different approach. So when I communicated to this person, basically saying, hey, so on and so forth, blah blah blah. It just opened up the door where I was able to see this individual and really clarify, come to terms, right there, face to face, and basically bring closure to our conflict. But basically, hey, this is why I was doing this or whatever. So most of the time, as we're getting, as the conflicts, things start rising, we all get on this little, on our own little soapbox, uh, so to speak, where no longer anybody else's point, or view kind of matters. I mean, and I think that's pretty realistic. Where and we just get so self absorbed, um, to the point as to why is it that we're no longer hearing anything else. And I mean, a lot of things can happen. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of things in the news lately that are just like, wow, how did we get to this point? And and in that situation, that these folks or this person, or whatever, um, now we're sifting through the incident or the things that happen, whatever the outcome may be. um, and for us to really ask the question, okay, what could have been done to prevent it? And I'm kind of leaning to, and because I think it does pertain to what we're talking about today. I mean, the and not to get on the whole, what, because I know it's been all over the news, but the whole Uvalde, Texas incident, what could have led to this individual to get to such a point in their life, in their own world, in their own perspective, communication wise, that you know that this individual pretty much did what they did, leaving all these other, creating this huge ripple effect to these other individuals, and to an entire community, and basically all around the world. I mean that's pretty much, because it just leads to many other questions, many other things. It creates just this huge ripple of effect that makes us as a country and as a nation, ask ourselves a lot of questions, in regards to, what is it that we're doing about mental health, what is it that we're doing about, gun control and this. And I'm not trying to make this a whole political thing, because that's not, I try not, even though I do have my own political views, um, and sort of thing. But I try not to make this platform at that level, because I know I have listeners on both ends, and it's not about that, folks. It's just, again, I'm communicating to you, the listener, um, and making us, even myself, even as I'm doing the show, uh, making, just posing the questions out there, and even ask myself, and it's not the whole point to come up with an answer or anything, but you know communication is important. I mean, it's, imagine what we can do, or what we could have done if we communicated just a little better with, in regards to the, you know the Ukraine and Russian conflict. The things that, the other people we have, or countries that we have, currently have issues with Russia, China, all these organizations. I mean, in a day and age where technology is just available, as I've said before, at our fingertips. We've made we've taken such great strides to do a lot of things, a lot of great things as human beings. But shit, we suck at communication. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there, that I think we could do a little better, even myself. Uh, I at times I think that I'm saying it one way, but in the end, it comes out sometimes totally different. Um, and sometimes I even have to clarify myself, and even apologize for things that, you know what, I didn't mean it that way. Um, I meant it this way, but it's just like anything. It wasn't meant. It wasn't about. It's not about the sender, but about the receiver. I mean, that's one thing that I did learn, and that I try to work on those skills, as a communicator every day. As one, in addition to doing safety, I mean, I was a Marine Corps recruiter, and some of you folks, who follow the show, you may remember I had Master Gunnery Sergeant Gino Osorio on the show, and I mean, he could tell you. I mean, we went through going, and those of you who may have been prior recruiters, from any other branch, that, I mean, that's one of the things that we, it just, they beat that into you, the whole communication thing, and how to be a better communicator, because that's how you resolve conflict. That's how you resolve, when that person that's sitting in front of you, they're not receiving the message completely of, what, and the things that you're trying to let them know about, the great benefits of joining the service, and how is it they're going to be better in the end, by, that, and their lives will improve by then coming into the military. And now, some of you may agree or may disagree. I, for one, I mean, I did agree. It it made me who I am today. So, and it defined the individual that I am, as not only as a young adult when I first joined, but also as an adult nowadays. So, but getting back to the whole recruiter piece, I mean, I keep honing on those skills, because they're important. I'm not saying that I excel at it and I'm perfect, but I think as I've gotten older and I've reflected even more on what I say, I'm pretty careful. I try not to, um, I've learned to let go a lot of stuff that maybe at one point in time, a bit of conflict or whatever, just to have the last word or be right, that I would have just try to obliterate that person verbally. I'm not saying by cussing or whatever, but just, because words can be very powerful, and you don't have to say, a ton of cuss words behind it just to get your message across. But I've learned to just let go and really watch what I say, in the sense, because in the end, especially, and just kind of, especially with family members, that's, I try to be very careful with that, because, or even on those who are close to me, because you never know if that may be the last time you see that individual, So, because I've already had, losses in my life, and you just don't want to have those questions and like shit. But anyways, getting back to the topic is basically, you know, as a communicator, and so I've learned over the years to really hone on those things, and really, uh, you know, try to do a really good job at it to excel at things because, especially getting my point across, talking with people, especially when there's conflict, to ensure that I just don't say anything that it's, you know, that I can't take back. You know what I mean? Because they may they may forget what you said, because you know we do, but they won't forget how you made them feel, especially with your words and those things. Now they, oh yeah, I don't remember what you said, but I just felt really, you know, get what I'm saying. You know, I know I've done. I was like, you know, so that what that all that creates is just resentment, and then you kind of go internal, so to speak, where you start to, you know, kind of shut down and not communicate well with that, with those, and you withdraw yourself from the situation of the individual. Now I'm not saying that, you know, at some point you shouldn't just like, you know, just to respect yourself, remove yourself from the situation and the person. I'm not saying that, but you know, with those close to you, we tend to do that. Hell, shit. I mean, I'll be dead honest. I mean, I'm doing that right now. You know, and I just sometimes I just the worst don't want to come out as much as I want them to come out. And you know, because it's just, I struggle with communicating and saying, hey, right now I'm just going through things that, um, you know, it's just difficult. And I don't know if it's maybe it's a protective mechanism, maybe, you know, because of the things that have, and I'm not using this as an excuse, the things that happen in my life, whether it's, you know, exposure in combat, you know, things that happened to me as a kid, whatever. But it's just, you always, what we used to, when I used to be a motorcycle instructor, there was a part in the course that we say you always go with what you know. And basically, whether it's positive or negative, you know, that's, we tend to fall back on those things, on what's comfortable. um, and and if it's a good behavior, good habit, you know, you've been working on, you know, your motorcycle skills, then you're going to fall on those good skills. Or if it's something, you know, bad you know, communication, or just, you know, you're going to fall into those protective mechanisms, not necessarily the best thing, because it's just what you know. So, you know, but you know, as we as we become self, and I guess what I'm saying is, you know, as we become more self, you know, we realize of what we do, or self-conscious, and more mindful of you know, of our, the things that we do. You know, that's how, where self-improvement comes. You know, yeah, I struggle through things sometimes, because not everybody's perfect. You know, I am human being, and you know, what you see before you, you know, you see, oh, hey, you know, is this dude bumping his gums on the microphone, whatever. But you know, I too have my struggles and my good days and my bad days. You know what I mean? So as I, you know, become more mindful, and I catch myself, hey, you're doing this right now. That's not, you shouldn't be doing that. It's not healthy. Is basically what I was trying to, get at. Uh, let's tweak it a little bit, and let's do it more in a more positive way, uh, so that way we just don't, fall into old habits, so to speak. So there has to be communication between, you know, between all of us, and then with one another. Because I mean, if we don't if we just stop communicating, and whether we agree, disagree, you know, because everybody wants to, you know, nowadays it just seems like everybody wants to be right. Nobody wants to hear one another. It's like, oh no, it's all about me. And we tend to cover this, with well, I feel, which is fine because you can't, that's your own perception, that's your own reality right now, and that's fine, and those are well valid and validated, but we just get caught up in that, and that's it. It's either I'm right, and then if not, and you're not, and because you don't agree with me, you must be, and I'm sure that you've heard that you're racist, you're this, you're that. It's just like, whoa, time out, stop. It's not even about that. We can, I hear what you're saying, and you know, but I don't have to agree with what you're saying. I validate your feelings. I got it. But I too can, I too can either agree to whether you're right or wrong or not, whatever. In the end, it's, I mean, I too can have a little bit of control of the situation, and because I can only control, up to the tip of my nose, some of the word built guys, we used to say in group. I mean, that's as far as you have control. I don't have any control over you. You don't have control over me as much as, sometimes we would like to. But that's as far as, in the whole control goes. So the best thing that we can do is, communicate with one another and share and try to find some type of common ground, into, whatever the situation may be. Imagine what we can accomplish if we just sat down, air the table out, and put all our cards on the table and see what we could come up with an agreement. I mean, things may not be perfect, but we can also say, hey, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but I still disagree. Country so and so, I hear what you're saying. Let's work on this, or let's do that. I mean, I think about half of the conflicts and all the shit that we got going on, nowadays, will pretty much go away. Imagine what a world that would be. I don't know. I'm just a guy with a microphone, a studio bought in Amazon, with some ideas and a podcast, trying to share my thoughts and feelings on the current situation. That's just not only going on around the world, but also, a little bit with me, because, as most of you know, you're getting to know me not only through the show, but also from my own experiences. That's all. So, but yeah, I just want to, kind of, I don't know if there's an answer for it. I don't know if there's, if there's a solution. I don't know, because I mean, to get all these people all around the world, in this great world of ours, to come together and just, come on one. I mean, I know I come together and just become one. I think that may be very difficult, but I'm just throwing the question, and maybe it'll get some of you to think about it and start talking about it. And maybe with that comes just a little bit of self-realization, where there's a little bit of learning and there's a little bit of improvement. I don't know. Wouldn't that be cool? So that's all I wanted to say for today. It's a short one today. I am struggling. I'm not gonna lie. I have been struggling a little bit with some things, but that's okay. It's okay to be not okay. Whereas in a previous lifetime, I would have just said I'm okay and just smiled, and but the man behind the mask would have been fucking screaming and ripping at the seams. So next week will be a better week. So if you're struggling out there, and you wanna talk about it, well, shit, drop me a line. If you don't want to talk to me, call the VA hotline, call the suicide hotline, call a buddy, call a friend, talk to somebody, but communicate. Let's improve on that. So with that being said, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and end this right here. Thanks so much for your time. So with that being said, all right, get some. I'm out.